Back to For the Record. Well, for years, local municipalities across Wisconsin have asked the state government for more money, arguing the shared revenue funding formula hasn't kept up with inflation. But in 2023, the wish was granted when Governor Evers signed Act 12 into law. Now, the spike from Act 12 was the largest growth in Maine municipal revenue sources in decades. Now, this graph from the Wisconsin Policy Forum demonstrates exactly that. However, Act 12's effects varied widely for communities around the state, and larger cities received much less per capita. That's where this new package of bills introduced by state Democrats earlier this month comes in. Now, one of the bills would add supplemental aid payments to cities with populations of greater than 50,000 people. Another bill would allow counties and municipalities to raise local option sales taxes to up to 0.5%. And this legislation looks to create a bipartisan council to address the local government funding formula. Now, we spoke with Representative Ann Rowe about this earlier this week and talked about how these bills could move forward. When Governor Evers signed Act 12 into law in 2023, he said it was one of the most significant sources of funding provided by the state to local governments. Your district, Janesville, received a 22% increase at that time. We kind of touched on this, but how is this legislation specifically different, and is it necessary?
It is necessary because that formula means that Janesville in particular will just flat out never catch up. So the formula is not tied to the rate of inflation. It is frozen, as I mentioned, back in using 2004 numbers. So, 21 years ago, a lot has changed in so many communities. And in Janesville, we will literally never catch up based on the way the formula is written now. And while Act 12, and I do agree with the governor, it was a major improvement. Please, hear me on that. I'm very clear on that. However, it did not go far enough, and it did not set up our state for improvement and going forward.
And you mentioned multiple times that Act 12 just didn't go far enough. Do you think your legislation will fix the root of this issue here?
It's a patch. It's once again a patch. It's trying to negate any sort of punishment or penalty to those smaller, mid-sized communities. Those small, mid-sized communities, I'll tell you, I go to all of the town board meetings, city council meetings that I possibly can in the district. And I will tell you that roads, EMS are the top two budget items, no matter where I am. I can predict, I know exactly what's going to show up on the agenda every time I go. And they are forced, whether it is the town of Plymouth with 700 people or Janesville with 65,000 plus people, they are forced again and again to do more with less funds.
And so you mentioned that this is a patch in the overall issue here. What do you say to critics who say that this just kicks the real issue here, kicks the can down the road, so to speak?
Well, great. Join the Shared Revenue Council is what I would say to those critics. Let's get to work. Let's fix that formula.
And you've talked a couple of times about this bipartisan committee you're hoping to form. Have you talked with Republicans about getting that started?
Oh, yes.
What have those conversations looked like?
Honestly, they see me coming down the hall and it's like, I know. Shared revenue. It's like, yep.
Do you see this having bipartisan support?
I do. If we don't get creative as a state and responsive as a state, giving those towns and municipalities more tools in their toolbox so that they can sort of guide their own destiny and grow their communities, we're just creating a problem that, is going to be even larger, for my kids.
That was Representative Ann Rowe with us earlier. Well, global healthcare leader Abbott is in the process of acquiring Madison-based Exact Sciences. The purchase is valued at $23 billion. Exact Sciences currently employs 7,000 people. It focuses on early cancer detection and personalized treatments. That's something Abbott says it's aiming to enhance its presence in.
They don't have a cancer diagnostics business, so we become that. And our people are responsible for continuing to grow. And we have great pride in that. And we want to go help change the world together.
News of the acquisition comes more than 3 months after Exact Sciences confirmed that its 4% of its overall workforce would be laid off. That impacted around 200 positions in Wisconsin, including 80 at its headquarters here in Madison. The Greater Madison Area Chamber of Commerce says the acquisition is a statement of what Exact Sciences has grown to be.
Certainly the largest healthcare acquisition anywhere based on Bloomberg information this year. And I think when you think about 2009, so 16 years ago, and Exact Sciences is a small company with 2 people, and they moved from Boston to here, and how they have grown and helped define this region as one of the epicenters of research and cancer treatment and cancer diagnostics.
For the record, we'll be back right after this.